This movie we're making now is not real life. But at the same time, it's not a send-up, and it's not an imitation of anything. Her torch is going out. The snakes are even closer to her now. Indy climbs to the head of the statue. He braces his back against the wall and puts his feet on the arm. I had been looking for action-adventure. I had been looking to do something that would take me globe-trotting. And that was one of the things I told George Lucas when I spent time with him in Hawaii in '77, which was, I really want to make a globe-trotting movie like James Bond. So I had that in my appetite. It was on my sort of horizon that by hook or by crook, I would somehow make a kind of international movie involving action and chases and big set pieces and a fantastic John Williams score. I just didn't quite know, you know, I had the template, I didn't quite have the carrier pigeon. And until George mentioned this idea that he had had about Indiana Jones.
It all really comes down to what I want to see. And Raiders especially was one that I just wanted to see the movie. I thought when I was working on Star Wars and I came up with the idea, I said, oh, this will be a fun movie, but I can't do it because now I'm going to do Star Wars and that's going to be my action-adventure movie. And so I was constantly trying to get somebody else to do it just so I could see it.
I just really expressed to George my desire to, you know, make a movie that I had been raised on, the kind of film that really had attracted, you know, my attention as a kid growing up, which was these spectacular international adventure stories that were mainly represented by these very cheaply made, low-budget black and white Republic serials. That was the idea.
Good. I just didn't understand.
We agreed a lot on movies and had the same aesthetic. And generally, I'm not crazy about working with my friends because, you know, it's like anything else. You can sort of damage your friendship that way. But Stephen and I are so simpatico that it was very easy for us to work together.
And so the movie came together really fast.
Raiders of the Lost Ark was a very strong idea. You know, the basic of the idea was, you know, action adventure, cliffhanger, you know, looking for a supernatural artifact, the character of Indiana Jones as this kind of fallen archaeologist that was kind of always over his head. Once those were set, then the process of coming up with a story, the specifics of the sequences and things that actually happened to him in the process of this adventure were fun.
And what came out of Larry Kasdan's typewriter was even a better version of the movie that we pitched out in those 3 or 4 days of story meetings that I had with George and Larry Kasdan. But I think that's where it was born, and that's where it will always remain, at least in my memory, that film came to life, not so much even on the sound stages or on location, but the film came to life in the story writing process. And we all pretty much stuck to the script that we were given.
Indiana Jones.
It was inconceivable to me that we wouldn't find the right actor to play Indiana Jones, even though Harrison Ford wasn't even being talked about in those days. It was this actor, it was that actor, it was eventually Tom Selleck, and then Tom was preempted from doing our movie after we cast him because of a CBS show that we all know called Magnum P.I. And then I had just seen a cut of Empire Strikes Back and said to George, that's Indiana Jones right up there, Han Solo. Why can't he do it? And George said, no. I got my hands full with Harrison just playing Han Solo. I don't want to, you know, he's identified as Han Solo. Let's leave him as Han Solo. And I said, yeah, but he's an actor. Actors play hundreds of different characters in their lifetimes. I think he'd be a great Indiana Jones. And that's sort of how the whole process began with Harrison. That's what I told George when I first accepted the project. I said, I'll do the movie, but I'm going to shoot it real fast.
Right.
This isn't, we're not going to do 20 takes on a 14-inch dolly shot. And we're not going to spend time getting the girl's hair out of her eye every shot. I was desperate when I made Raiders of the Lost Ark because I was coming off a movie that went wildly over budget and schedule, 1941, Close Encounters, wildly over budget and schedule, and Jaws, of course, went 100 days over schedule and was almost 2.5 times the initial budget. And so I really was ready to turn over a new leaf, and Raiders was my chance to prove to myself that I could make a movie, you know, responsibly, economically, and under schedule and under budget. And so that's what I set out to do, with a little help from my friend George Lucas, who's a tremendous producer and gave me a lot of hints and pointers on how to be prepared and how to prepare myself to be able to do this picture responsibly. So in a way, I had a lot to prove to myself after these movies that were very kind of, they were successful, but they were a little bit capricious. At least I was capricious in my looking at my budget and schedule and saying, I'm going to need more days, more time, you know.
Friday night. If we don't get this, we don't get the shot.
If we don't get the shot, we don't get the movie.
If we don't get the movie, we're all up a creek. Indiana Jones was always meant to be a B movie. It was always meant to be a kind of low-cost movie.
And so by shooting a very lean movie, where I was actually in the cutting room saying, oh, I wish I had gotten that coverage. How do I speed this up? I don't have a cover shot. I don't have that cutaway, so I can't cut out those 15 seconds. What am I going to do? It was challenging, but it was a great object lesson, because by the end of the movie, I had made the picture for about 15 or 16 days under the 84, 85-day schedule. And I had made it for exactly the budgets that we had committed going in. And so, you know, I wasn't thinking about making any kind of a movie that was a classic or any kind of a movie that was going to be a huge success, although I was thinking about making a film the audience would like. But I was trying to make a movie that was fiscally responsible.
Raiders of the Lost Ark was a dream for me. The script came out better than I could possibly imagine. Steven, when he started directing, it came out even better than the script. So every step of the way, it was getting better and more fun and more exciting. And of all the movies I've made, it's the one that was the most fun of all.
Well, I think with the exception of The Shark in Jaws and E.T., I've only made a couple of movies where I can put the silhouette of the leading character up on the screen, just a silhouette, and people immediately know where that came from.